Season 15 is quickly approaching, and if everything goes according to schedule, we can expect a new map this season. But what is that map going to be? Let's have a look. Season 14 is a bit of a lopsided season. Next Tuesday, that mid-season update that everybody has been waiting for is finally going to drop. But that means that the second half of the season is going to last for just 4 weeks, since Season 15 is starting on February 18. Now, I did a video on what we can expect for that mid-season update last week. And when that update actually drops, I'll have a video ready with all of the content in that patch. So make sure to subscribe. But today, I want to look forward at what map we can expect for Season 15. See, Overwatch has kept this rhythm up till now, in which they release a new hero in the even seasons and a new map in the odd seasons. Season 15 is an odd season, according to my math teacher. In other words, we can expect a map. But what is that map going to be? As always, there are a few indicators that help us to do this prediction. There is lore, like the comics, the short stories, that are hinting at the locations. Other times, they're tied into some of the new heroes. And once in a while, a hint can be found on another map. Today's predictions include all of the above. And I'm going to start out with an old favorite, the Atlantic Arcology. I've been talking about this location for years now. It basically is a huge structure in the Atlantic Ocean, a few hundred kilometers away from the Portuguese coast, where a bunch of scientists have gathered trying to make this a better world. It was actually built by Claudio and Hector Martin, who also built that map that we can see outside of the Portuguese map, Esperanza. They moved to the Atlantic Arcology right after the Petras Act disbanded Overwatch, because they were working for Overwatch before that, under Torbjorn of all people. And it is also where Lifeweaver is currently hiding from Vishkar. Well, I don't know if he's really hiding, but yeah, that's where he's hanging. It is also a very strategic point for some people with ill intent, as we noticed in some of these short stories that released recently. Well, recently, I mean, back in April 2024, Blizzard released this bundle of short stories. Each and every one of these short stories kind of expanded on the lore of everything that was happening globally during the Null Sector invasion. And one of the first stories is set on the Arcology. Now, small spoiler alert. It tells the story of Symmetra, who actually works for Vishkar, visiting her old friend Lifeweaver at the Atlantic Arcology, trying to convince him to hand over that BioLite technology that he developed while working at Vishkar. That is the reason why he's kind of on the run, so to speak. He took it for himself. Now, I'm not going to elaborate on what happens next, that would be too much of a spoiler. But just the mere fact that after all those hints that they have been giving in the last few years, they give us a somewhat detailed description of the Arcology in that short story. And there's actually lore happening on that location. Well, it makes me more hopeful than ever that we're going to see that map soon. Hopefully Season 15 soon. It would be a cool location. Could actually add some underwater elements. Oh, we'll see. Another location that is very tied into the lore, but more kind of hero-specific lore, is Mars. Juno, one of the latest heroes, was born on Mars. See, her mom was a researcher that was sent to the Red Planet to do some research. Yeah. But they built a base and eventually she gave birth to Juno. There's more to this story, but that is not what we're focusing on today. The reasons that might be a future map: every single hero that was released since the launch of Overwatch 2 that has strong ties to their home country has seen their home country as a map on Overwatch, even before the launch of Overwatch 2, but in most cases after the launch. With the Junker Queen, New Junk City was added, Sojourn, Toronto, Ramatra, Nepal, Kiriko, Kanazeka, Iyari, Runosapi, and Famonga, Samoa. Now, when it comes to the other heroes, Lifeweaver is, as I said, on the run and actually living in the Atlantic Arcology. So he might actually also be getting his map. But his home country of Thailand was already represented in the game with the Ayutthaya map, which is a capture the flag map. Now, Venture, they are a bit of a roaming spirit. They're going from one deck side to the other, but Petra is kind of their home base. So that leaves us with two heroes that have not seen a map tied into their backstory: Juno and Hazard. Now, Scotland definitely is also an option, but it might be a little too soon. Although, you never know. Still, I'm betting on Mars, because it would also be a nice wink at Lunar Colony, which they scrapped at the start of Overwatch 2, with all of the other 2CP maps. But see, that might also be the reason why they're not going to do Mars. They already have a space-themed map. Maybe players want to see them rework Lunar Colony instead of adding a new map. What do you think? The Moon or Mars? Let me know in the comments. Now, talking about bringing back old 2CP maps, we have seen them repurpose the the art for some of the old 2CP maps. They turned them into new locations, most of them, well, actually all of them for the Clash mode. Hanaoka is the Hanamura-inspired map, and Throne of Anubis is kind of akin to the Temple of Anubis. So, might we see a reworked map, a reworked version of Voskaya Industries or Paris? I mean, both of them were not super popular maps when it came to gameplay, but they definitely had a good art kit. I think those two are strong contenders for the next map. But it could also be a completely new location. A place that we haven't necessarily heard a lot about, except maybe for a few subtle hints. On top of that list currently is a map set in Morocco. First off, building towards the release of Hazard, Morocco was mentioned a few times. But more importantly, when they reworked Numbani, and more specifically the Numbani airport, a poster for Morocco was added to the lobby. Any poster that makes it into that hall, that makes it onto those walls, is a sure set hint to one of the future maps. 100%. Any location that ever made it to one of those posters is in game now, or is currently in development. Sooner or later we're going to Morocco, and I'm quite excited for that. Morocco is a very beautiful country. I mean, we already have a North African map with all of the Anubis maps, but Morocco has some really interesting locations, some beautiful architecture that swings from Mediterranean to that more desert kind of sandstone feel. They have beautiful patches of nature. There is a reason why so many movies were recorded in that country. So that is definitely a strong contender. And then there are the locations that are tied into the lore a little more loosely, but that still could make very interesting maps. Like Watchpoint Grimsvatn, which apparently is built in a volcano. We've seen that before. But it is a place where Overwatch kept their most dangerous prisoners, including Doomfist. That's where he escaped. Some claim that it also is the place where Overwatch kept the other god programs, besides Anubis, and that those were all moved to the arcane Arcology because Overwatch was disbanded. So yeah, that sounds like a very lore-heavy and cool location. There's also the old Overwatch headquarters in Switzerland. They were completely ruined, but still, could be interesting to see. Maybe a null sector base. There has to be a place where Ramatra hangs up his coat and watches some TV. I don't know. Does he watch TV? I don't think so. And the one that I'm kind of secretly hoping for is Utopia. It is the Vishkar home base. Now, Vishkar has only become more prominent as a faction within Overwatch over the last few years. And that has kind of evolved to the place where Suravasa, the Indian map, they have a huge influence. There's posters all over the place promoting Vishkar, but there's also that circle ring-shaped ship that is floating over the map and nobody talks about. They are busy sticking their noses where they should not put their noses. Yeah, that was weird. But it could make for a really high-tech, cool-looking map. As you can tell, there's a lot of options to work with. And I'm sure I've not even covered all of them. But you know what? Maybe we'll get different maps, several maps. Who knows? Might be I don't know, Map Christmas or something. But anyways, if you have some other ideas or a favorite in my list, let me know in the comments. We should be finding out what the actual map is going to be somewhere in the next few weeks. Now, next week, I'm going to do my usual prediction video for Season 15. So make sure to subscribe. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my patrons. I could not make these videos without you guys. You too can become part of the Omnic Post family over on patreon.com/theomnicpost. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out my other videos. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye-bye.